The illusion is shattered. Remember the Las Vegas that promised high roller dreams on a reasonable budget? That city is dead and buried. In its place stands a monument to greed. Fee City. A place where the house no longer needs a stacked deck to bleed you dry. They fleece you at check-in, they gouge you on your drink order, and they even charge you for the audacity of looking out your own window. Trying to find a cheap getaway here is a fool's errand. It's less a vacation and more a meticulously planned shakedown executed under the blinding glare of a million neon lights. Brace yourselves, because we are counting down the 10 most outrageous hidden charges in Las Vegas. Proof that the biggest gamble you'll take is simply showing up. And coming in at number 10 is a truly insidious scam: dynamic drink pricing. They've brought surge pricing to your cocktail, and it's as predatory as it sounds. Picture this nightmare. You stroll into a Vegas bar at 2 in the afternoon, order a margarita, and they hit you with an $18 bill. It stings, but you tell yourself, this is Vegas. But then you return to that very same bar at 10 that night, and suddenly that identical drink is an unbelievable $28. Did the tequila age a decade in 8 hours? Of course not. You've just become the latest victim of their cold, calculating, algorithm-driven price gouging. Let's call it what it is: surge pricing for alcohol. In a chilling 2025 development, several colossal strip resorts have covertly unleashed technology designed to jack up drink prices based on how desperate they think you are. It's the same predatory model Uber uses to exploit you in a downpour. A major event in town? The price skyrockets. A busy Friday night on the strip? They squeeze you again. You're not just buying a cocktail, you're being forced to invest in the stock that's rigged to only ever go up. The psychological warfare at play here is absolutely brutal. It wasn't always this way. The old Vegas lured you in with the promise of cheap or even free drinks if you were gambling, making you feel valued. Now, every single sip is tainted with the bitter taste of being systematically ripped off. That $10 price hike on a single cocktail might seem minor, but multiply that over a weekend with your friends and your bar tab suddenly balloons into something resembling a mortgage payment. And this plague doesn't stop at the bar. The day clubs, the pool parties, and now even so-called casual restaurants are all testing this same exploitative system. You think you're safe with happy hour? Think again. That is, until the faceless algorithm decides the venue is too popular and vaporizes the deal in real time. Guests are left completely in the dark, with no idea of the true cost until their card is swiped. And at that point, complaining is utterly futile. For the unsuspecting visitor, this kind of deception shatters trust faster than a crooked blackjack table paying out a pathetic 6 to 5. People come here ready to spend, to splurge, but they want it to be their choice. Nobody, and I mean nobody, enjoys being ambushed by a pricing bot that arbitrarily declares their domestic beer is now a premium luxury. The inevitable result? Savvy travelers are abandoning the strip's bars in droves, seeking refuge and honest prices elsewhere. Or, in a twist of beautiful irony for the casinos, people are just getting loaded in their rooms before they even step outside. Have you been personally victimized by a $25 cocktail? Have you witnessed these outrageous price hikes with your own eyes? I demand to hear your horror stories. Sound off in the comments below and let's expose just how far off the deep end this has gone. And if this infuriating breakdown of Vegas's hidden greed is resonating with you, you absolutely must hit that subscribe button, because I swear to you, the further down this rabbit hole we go, the more insane it becomes. And just when you thought paying surge prices for tequila was the peak of absurdity, wait until you hear how in Las Vegas, they found a way to charge you for the very air you see through your window. At number 9, we have the premium view fee, a charge so brazen it's almost insulting. There was a time when getting a room overlooking the Strip or the magnificent Bellagio fountains was like a surprise jackpot. It was that little touch of luck that made your trip unforgettable. But flash forward to the grim reality of 2025, and that view is no longer a gift. It's a cold, hard line item on your bill. These hotels now have the audacity to slap you with premium view fees, ranging from an extra $25 to a staggering $75 a night, simply for the privilege of not staring at a concrete parking structure. But here is the truly despicable part. The majority of guests have no earthly idea they've been charged this fee until they're standing at the checkout counter, because it's buried deliberately deep in the fine print. These scenic view or fountain view surcharges slither onto your final bill like a card sharp's hidden ace. You never asked for it? They don't care. If your room has the misfortune of facing anything interesting, you are paying for it. It gets worse. Some hotels are now charging a premium for rooms facing the sphere, because apparently being subjected to a 24/7 barrage of blinking advertisements is now considered a luxury experience. It's the psychological manipulation that truly stings. Las Vegas built its entire identity on spectacle. The dazzling lights, the iconic fountains, the unforgettable skyline. And now, in an act of supreme cynicism, they are monetizing the very soul of the city. This is exactly like buying a ticket to a concert only to be hit with an extra stage-facing fee at the door. The backlash is real. Guests are now forced to game the system just to protect themselves. People are actively requesting the worst rooms, low floors, rooms with no view, all in a desperate attempt to dodge this predatory surcharge. Others are fleeing the strip entirely, choosing hotels where the only view is the desert, because at least no one has figured out how to charge you for looking at sand. And all the while, a deep and bitter resentment is brewing. Visitors who are treated like walking ATMs, nickel and dimed over something as fundamental as a window, are not coming back. And let's be brutally honest, when you're already being extorted with resort fees, after being bled dry by parking charges and dynamic drink prices, being told you owe $50 more to gaze at fountains you can see perfectly for free from the sidewalk feels like the ultimate calculated insult. But for God's sake, don't put your wallet away yet, because in this new Vegas, even the simple act of lying by the pool, the most basic desert pleasure, is now booby-trapped with fine print. Number 8. Pool access fees. The absolute audacity of paying to swim in the hotel you're already paying for. Vegas is a furnace in the middle of the desert. A pool isn't just an amenity, it's a survival tool. And yet, in the grim reality of 2025, that precious oasis now demands a ransom. A multitude of strip resorts have slyly rolled out pool access fees ranging from $20 to an outrageous $40 per guest per day. This is for guests who are already shelling out sky-high rates for their rooms. You want a simple lounge chair? Prepare to be gouged for another $25 to $50. Are you eyeing one of those shaded daybeds? You'd better brace your credit card for impact. You are looking at triple-digit costs before a single toe even dares to touch the water. Their justification is a masterclass in corporate doublespeak about managing crowding or maintaining premium service. But let's cut through the lies. It is nothing more than a predatory cash grab. Guests who were raised on the promise that the hotel pool was part of the deal are left utterly stunned to find they now need a wristband and a receipt just to absorb the sun's rays. And the fleecing doesn't stop there. Some properties now have the nerve to charge towel rental fees or chair reservation fees, layering cost upon cost until your relaxing pool day feels more like an admission to a high-priced theme park. For families, the sticker shock isn't just brutal, it's a vacation killer. Imagine bringing 2 children on a trip only to be ambushed with a $120 daily bill just for them to splash around in chlorinated water. Countless parents are now reporting that they're forced to skip the pool entirely, or are fleeing to short-term rentals with private pools far off the strip. This is draining business from the very resorts that once boasted of offering an all-encompassing world under one roof. The irony is excruciating. Vegas used to practically give away luxury. free drinks, free shows, even free buffets, all to keep you happy and gambling on the casino floor. Now they're charging you for the privilege of sweating under the desert sun in a pool you were deluded into thinking you already paid for. And just when you think it can't get any more predatory, it does. Once you're finally settled by that pool, sipping a daiquiri that cost a small fortune, you wander over to the ATM for a little gambling money only to discover the machine itself is a bigger bandit than any dealer. Number 7. ATM and cash fees have gone completely insane. The house always wins. We know the saying. But back in the day, hitting a casino ATM meant grabbing a quick $20 to keep the good times rolling. Now, it feels like you're applying for a high-interest loan. In 2025, casino ATMs on the Strip are brazenly charging $10 to $15 for a single withdrawal. And that's before your own bank sinks its fangs in. You pull out $100 and you're already down 15% before a single card has been dealt. That isn't an ATM. It's a shakedown machine with a slick, glittering facade. But the extortion doesn't end there. During major events, think the Super Bowl, New Year's Eve, or Formula One, some of these machines reportedly test dynamic ATM surcharges. Let me translate that for you. Just like the surge pricing that gouges you for a rideshare, your ATM fee skyrockets precisely when you need the cash most. It's the ultimate insult, being forced to pay a premium just to access your own cash, all while standing under a chandelier that's worth more than your entire life savings. The psychological warfare is devastating. This city once prided itself on making your dollar feel like a fortune. Now, the city is literally taxing you for the simple act of touching your own money. Some visitors are so disgusted, they're resorting to bringing huge wads of cash from home just to dodge the fees, which, in a cruel twist of irony, dramatically increases their risk of being targeted by thieves and criminals. Others are fleeing to off-strip casinos or local banks just to make a withdrawal, which starves the Strip of the very foot traffic it so desperately needs. And here is the real kicker. These obscene ATM charges are fundamentally altering how people gamble. A tourist who feels like they've been mugged before they even sit down at a slot machine is infinitely less likely to play with abandon. The mindset shifts from let's have some fun to let's not get fleeced again. That sentiment is pure poison for an industry that was meticulously built on the grand illusion of generosity. But if you think being taxed just to grab your own cash is the height of absurdity, you had better brace yourself for what happens when you dare to order a simple burger to your room. Because in this Vegas, even room service has a hidden mandatory toll booth. Number 6, the room service delivery fee scam. When a single burger costs as much as a full buffet, ordering room service in Las Vegas once felt like a decadent, guilty pleasure. A reward after a long night out. In 2025, it feels more like you're being strong-armed by a mob enforcer at your own hotel room door. On top of the already grotesquely inflated menu prices, a shocking number of Strip hotels now slap on delivery fees of $9 to $15 per order, plus a mandatory gratuity of 18 to 22% before you're even given the chance to add your own tip. By the time your $25 burger and fries finally arrives, your bill will effortlessly explode past $45. And the absolute insult? These outrageous fees guarantee absolutely nothing in terms of better service. Horrified guests are reporting waits of 45 agonizing minutes for a cold, pathetic meal in a soggy paper bag, leaving them to wonder if the driver decided to take a scenic tour of Henderson on their dime. Meanwhile, that so-called mandatory gratuity rarely, if ever, finds its way into the pockets of the actual staff, trapping guests in a guilt-ridden nightmare where they feel forced to tip again. This insidious practice of double tipping is now the disgusting new normal. And the only ones celebrating are the faceless suits in the accounting department. But if you think that's bad, just wait. For families or any group, the financial bloodbath gets exponentially worse. Dare to order a simple breakfast for a family of 4, and you'll be staring down the barrel of a $200 bill for pancakes and eggs that have the distinct flavor of corporate indifference. This level of sticker shock is triggering a mass exodus, driving intelligent visitors away from the hotels and into the arms of off-strip diners, where a real meal can be had for half the price and a tip is given out of appreciation, not coercion from a printed demand. But the real poison here is the complete erosion of trust. When you feel ambushed by predatory costs for something as basic as dinner in bed, that sense of betrayal bleeds into every single moment of your vacation. It is a slow, agonizing death by 1,000 cuts, and with every single slice, Vegas is bleeding out the very reputation for carefree indulgence that it was built on. And just when you believe the fleecing has finally ended, Vegas unleashes its next diabolical trick, charging you a fee for the simple privilege of placing a bet. Brace yourself for number 5, sports betting and the dreaded technology fees. Now, you literally have to pay just to play the game. Once, Vegas built its empire on a simple, sacred covenant with the gambler. You risked your money and the house took its rightful cut through the odds and the vig. That was the deal. But in 2025, the casinos, in their infinite greed, decided that still wasn't enough. And so, the technology fee was born. A deceptive new surcharge silently slipped onto every bet you place, whether at the sportsbook counter or on their own mobile apps. Let me expose exactly how this scam operates. So you go to place a $100 sports bet. The odds are already stacked against you, but now a mysterious 3 to 5% tech fee materializes on your ticket. A fee they claim is for maintaining digital infrastructure. The translation? You're being forced to pay extra just so their billion-dollar app doesn't collapse during the Super Bowl halftime show. And don't even think you can outsmart them by placing your bet in person. The very same surcharge is being slapped on wagers at the counter. The consequences of this greed are absolutely brutal. For the average person, that extra $3 to $5 on every single bet bleeds you dry during a weekend of March Madness or NFL games. For the high rollers, we're talking about hundreds, even thousands of dollars stolen from them, skimmed right off the top before the game even begins. In essence, Vegas has invented a tax on excitement, and then has the audacity to call this shakedown innovation. But the psychological damage this inflicts upon the city is catastrophic. Gamblers accept the house edge. It's part of the game. What they will not accept is being openly and shamelessly gouged on top of it. And when players feel cheated, they stop playing. They're abandoning the Strip sportsbooks in droves, flocking to off-strip locations, tribal casinos, and online platforms that aren't infected with these predatory maintenance fees. Others are simply slashing their bets, a move that directly sabotages the very revenue stream Vegas is so desperately trying to inflate. But this goes far beyond mere dollars and cents. This is about principle. The unspoken contract of Las Vegas was always, you take a fair risk, and we provide the unparalleled spectacle. That contract has been torn to shreds. Now the message is, pay us an extra fee just for the privilege of sitting at our table. But if you think paying a tax to place a bet is insane, just wait until you try to buy a ticket to a show. Because in today's Vegas, entertainment is no longer a pleasure, it's a financial endurance test. Coming in at number 4, ticket and entertainment fee hell. The show that starts long before you ever see the stage, on your receipt. Las Vegas once proudly declared itself the entertainment capital of the world. It was the undisputed home of Cirque du Soleil, legendary concerts, and comedy titans. But in 2025, the most shocking performance on the Strip isn't happening on any stage. It's the horrifying endless parade of so-called convenience fees, processing charges, and facility surcharges that are mercilessly slapped onto every single ticket sold. Let me show you the grim reality. That ticket, advertised for $150 to see a spectacle at the Sphere or a Cirque show? It's a lie. That price never, ever exists. By the time you survive the checkout gauntlet, you're staring at a final bill of $190. $200, or even a staggering $220 per seat. That's a jaw-dropping 25 to 40% markup for doing nothing more than clicking confirm purchase. And don't believe for a second that the box office is your safe haven. Those same parasitic fees are embedded into in-person sales, leaving you with no escape. For families, the financial devastation is almost unbelievable. A family of 4 can be forced to watch an extra $200 get sucked into a digital black hole before they've even found a parking spot. And the most infuriating part, these add-ons provide zero improvement to your service or experience. Guests now flee feeling utterly fleeced, as if they were forced to pay a cover charge just for the privilege of being systematically ripped off. But the deeper wound is cultural. Vegas shows were once a sacred ritual, the very heart of a trip. Now, a growing tide of visitors is rejecting ticketed entertainment entirely, seeking refuge in free street-side spectacles or off-strip venues where honesty isn't a surcharge. This rebellion is a dagger to the hearts of performers, venues, and the city's very identity as the entertainment capital of the world. The irony is absolutely blistering. Vegas built its empire on the promise of spectacular value. Today, the only spectacle is watching your bill inflate by $50 before you've even escaped the checkout screen. And the last remaining magic trick is the horrifying velocity at which your money vanishes. But if you believe those ticket fees are agonizing, you must brace yourself for the financial assault that awaits when you dare to order a drink. Because in this new Vegas, they've engineered a way to tax you for the simple act of chewing. This brings us to outrage number 3, concession and venue surcharges, where every single bite is an extra line item. This town used to be a haven where a prime rib dinner cost $5 and a cocktail was pocket change. In the grim reality of 2025, that spirit has been viciously extinguished, replaced by receipts that read like a ransom note. Order a drink at a concert, a snack in an arena, or God forbid, a round of beers in a casino sports bar, and you will discover a mysterious venue surcharge or concession fee of 3 to 8% that has been insidiously grafted onto your tab. It's designed to look harmless at first. 3% on a $12 hot dog? Who's gonna notice? But let that predatory math compound over a weekend of poolside cocktails, late-night snacks, and pre-show beers, and you've just hemorrhaged another $50 without even knowing you were bleeding. And here is the final brutal twist of the knife. This is stacked on top of sales tax and gratuity. Translation, you are being charged a premium for the honor of paying a premium. The corporations justify it with their soulless corporate script: rising operational costs, enhanced guest experience. But let's be perfectly clear. You are not tasting an enhanced experience when that $14 beer magically bloats into an $18 charge on your bill. You are tasting pure, unadulterated exploitation. The psychological cruelty is appalling. Guests arrive expecting to splurge, even on overpriced drinks, but they do not arrive expecting to be ambushed by hidden percentages they never consented to. The inevitable backlash? Tourists now treat concession stands like a trap, refusing to eat or drink on site. A self-inflicted wound that is slowly bleeding vendors dry. Locals and repeat visitors have seen this scam for years, and they are now screaming warnings across the internet. Dissect your bill, because Las Vegas will bury you in math you never asked for. And that is the true corrosive damage. Vegas was always about indulgence without consequence. But when people feel like they're being shaken down every time they lift a glass, they stop indulging. And far worse, they stop coming back. But if a surprise tax on your nachos feels insulting, wait until you comprehend that Vegas is now charging you for the mere act of deciding to give them your money. Scam number 2, online booking and convenience fees. They are charging you just to click confirm. It's a twisted inversion of logic. You'd think booking your own trip online would be the smart, cost-effective choice. After all, you're doing 100% of the labor. No travel agent, no hold music, no paperwork. But in the dystopian landscape of 2025, Sin City has taken that logic and shattered it. Now, a plague of hotels, clubs, and even restaurants shamelessly inflicts online booking fees or digital convenience charges that can steal anywhere from $10 to a jaw-dropping $40 per single reservation. Here's how the con unfolds. You see an enticing midweek hotel deal for $109 a night. Your finger hovers over the button. You click, and then the trap springs. Your bill has suddenly metastasized to $149, justified by a deliberately cryptic digital processing fee. This exact bait and switch is repeated when you book a day club, a dinner table, or even a simple tour. The ultimate irony? These corporations are saving millions by hurting customers online, and then they have the gall to punish you for it. For any traveler trying to assemble a full Vegas getaway with its web of hotel shows, pool passes, and restaurant tables, these parasitic fees accumulate with sickening speed. A couple can watch $100 to $150 of their budget evaporate before they even step foot in Nevada. By the time they check in, they are already marinated in the bitter feeling of being played, a poison that seeps into every single part of their trip. The psychological wound is far deeper than the dollar amount. Vegas once sold freedom, the pure, unadulterated joy of setting a budget and then blowing it with zero guilt. But be warned, when they start bleeding you dry with endless fees before you've even packed a single bag, that dream of freedom is utterly poisoned by a deep, burning resentment. An exodus is underway. Visitors are now fleeing the Strip, choosing honesty over illusion, flocking to off-strip havens, or abandoning Vegas entirely for destinations that don't hide their prices. And this is where the city's gamble truly backfires. Once that sacred trust is shattered, loyalty evaporates with it. Tourists, feeling utterly betrayed by the online bait and switch, aren't just hitting cancel on a room. They're wiping Vegas off their map for good. But as infuriating as it is to be charged for the simple act of clicking a button, it's a mere pittance compared to our #1 most diabolical hidden cost. A fee cloaked in the guise of virtue that leaves visitors seething at the checkout counter. Number 1. The so-called energy and carbon surcharges. A cynical ploy to save the planet, one gouged wallet at a time. Just when you thought Las Vegas had exhausted every conceivable way to charge you, it delivers one final, breathtaking insult as you're trying to escape. They call it an energy surcharge or a carbon fee. In 2025, these predatory charges typically ran from $4 to $8 per night, cynically marketed as your contribution to sustainability or to offset soaring utility costs. How noble, they claim. How virtuous. Who in their right mind would dare argue against saving the planet? Well, here's the sickening hypocrisy. You're being forced to pay this fee in a city infamous for its 24/7 neon glare. A city that pumps Arctic-level air conditioning into structures the size of airport terminals and fires countless gallons of precious water into the desert sky for mere spectacle. Guests aren't fools. They know their $8 a night isn't making a single meaningful dent in the Strip's colossal carbon footprint. This isn't eco-responsibility. It's a blatant, shameless act of eco-exploitation. Consider this, over a 5-night stay, that small fee inflates to $40 or more, piled on top of resort fees, pool charges, drink surcharges, and every other hidden financial trap you've already been forced through. By the time that final bloated bill appears, this fee feels like the ultimate betrayal, the last straw. The internet is ablaze with horror stories from enraged visitors. What exactly did my carbon fee accomplish? Turn off one single light bulb in some forgotten hallway? The psychology behind this charge is venomous, preying on your sense of guilt. Nobody wants to be the person who says no to sustainability, but when it becomes painfully obvious that the money is just padding corporate profits instead of funding any real green initiatives, tourists are left feeling like suckers, duped, enraged, and vowing never to return. They're now actively seeking refuge in off-strip hotels or boutique properties that refuse to play this dirty game, even if it means fewer amenities. And therein lies the existential threat to Vegas. When your guests leave town feeling conned instead of captivated, you're not just losing their cash for one trip, you're losing their loyalty forever. So the next time you gaze upon those iconic lights burning bright against the desert darkness, remember this. In Fee City, even the shimmering glow comes with a hidden price tag, and you're the one being forced to pay it. So there you have it, 10 hidden costs that expose the grim reality. Las Vegas is no longer the city of lights, it's the city of endless receipts. What was once a dazzling playground has become a pickpocket dressed in a tuxedo. Have you been ambushed by these predatory fees yourself? Unleash your story in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we continue to drag the real price of this place into the light. Fee City.